name is Steve. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I was an only child, no brothers or sisters. I moved to Bartlett, Illinois in 1977 when I was 3 years old. I was born to a Catholic mother and a Jewish father. Neither of them attended church very much, although they did believe in God. My mother suffered from diabetes, which caused me to be a very sick baby at birth. I was born 6 months premature and was taken by cesarean section 6 months earlier. I had asthma. I would describe myself as a loner, introverted kid who didn't have very many friends. My dad taught me not to be unfriendly in the case of strangers, so it's kind of affected me in life as well. It says, I had difficulty in school. I was picked on, teased a lot, etc. I had self-esteem issues because of the incidents and was admitted to the state psychiatric hospital after my teachers heard me talking about suicide. I spent a couple of years there and was put on all sorts of psychiatric drugs for my problem. Neither of it helped much, and I was released soon after. I believe God was probably the only friend I truly had in my life. I would tend to spend time talking to myself and God about my situation. It helped. My dad worked a lot and I didn't see him much. I was very close to my mom. I was sort of a mama's boy and dependent on her a lot. Like most families, mine was not perfect. My parents argued a lot over finances. I suffered a personal tragedy at age 10 when my grandmother passed away at home. It really had an effect on me for years. I did not attend a church and was not connected to one. It was something I never really thought about, although I believe I had a relationship with God. I spent the next few years moving from place to place and going to different schools. My dad passed away in 2001. It was extremely hard for me and my mother. I was now the man of the house. We sold our house and moved into an apartment in Addison. My mom was already very sick with her diabetes. She suffered from renal failure and she needed dialysis treatments 3 times per week. She also had low vision and walked with a cane. My mom and I decided that it was time for me to be a little more independent and decided that I should learn how to drive a car so that I could take her to her dialysis treatments. I had never driven a car or had a bicycle as a kid. We looked for several schools before settling on one. I was not aware of how valuable that school was and how the Lord would later be an asset to me in the next few years. I finally did get my license and was taking care of my mom. On October 30th, 2005, it was probably just another ordinary day, and I was doing usual errands, and my mother was asleep on the couch. Or so I thought she was. I went to wake my mom in the evening. I first called out to her and she didn't answer. I went into the living room where she was laying down. I called out to her. She didn't hear me, so I put my hand in her hand and her hands were cold. That was it. She was gone. She was 58 years old. I had no idea. I was like, oh no, God, no, what am I going to do? So I called 911 and was wailing and crying and very upset. I could not even contain myself. I called a couple of relatives, but I couldn't reach anyone. Nobody cared. So I decided to call my driving instructor, Mitch, and tell him about it and about what happened. I told him that my mom just died and I'm here all alone and I don't know what to do. So he told his family and they called me and they offered to let me stay at their house in Bolingbrook for a while. I believe God was on my side that night. They were such godly people that they provided me with the support I needed. They even helped pay for my mother's funeral expenses and adopted me part of their family. They're like step-parents to me. I am very grateful to them. I see them on the holidays. It was about 2006 when I decided to start attending Bloomingdale Church Alpha program. It's not something I was told to do, but was something I wanted to do. I first started attending the Alpha services with Joe and Andrea Zianadad on Tuesday. I was not attending any of Bloomingdale Church services as of yet, just Alpha. I was still going through a lot of grief and heartache and began to go into a severe depression. I would hang out in bars, etc. I was lonely and was looking for something that only God could offer. I didn't find any and got more empty inside. I went to grief counseling and depended on the Lord for the next couple of years and tried to ask Him what I should do. God showed me that I should repent and start going to church. So in 2010, I left my sinful life behind and turned to God for answers. I became a member of Bloomingdale Church in 2011 and started attending the Sunday service as well, beginning in 2013. I was listening to God and heard his calling to Bloomingdale Church. I gave my life to Christ and was baptized in September 2012. God has rewarded me in a very special way, and he helped me to get my GED in December of 2013 after 7 years of trying. I am very grateful to God and the friends and family I have here at Bloomingdale Church. I am very confident in what the Lord has in store for my future, and that is my story. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for caring about me.